Guys, welcome back to Ruck and Roll Rugby. And in today's one, the big one for me as a Springbok supporter, the reaction to the game between Wales and the Springboks. And it was shocking to see how poorly Mani Libbok's place kicking was to the goals. That was my biggest gripe when it comes from a Springbok perspective. But truly the Springboks improving so much this week and kind of putting their stamp down to say we're also here to play in this World Cup, and we're starting to see a good evolving Springbok game where they're playing it up front but also having the ability to move it out wide, which is lovely to see. But guys, let's get into it. 3 minutes into the game, 0-0. Libbok's there playing scrum half. Oh, and what an offload by Kulisi. And who else than Malcolm Marx to score there? This guy was brilliant since he came up. And guys, you can't see that now on these highlights because it's very short, but you could see how the Springboks had like 4 guys go to the blind side. So this was definitely called by someone on the field. A whole lot of guys went blind side there. When everyone was anticipating them to go the other way, they literally came blindside. And this try was made by Siya Kolisi, and it was so good to see Siya Kolisi back on the field. Man, the guy had such a quick recovery. We were all worried about after that surgery that he's really ready for rugby again. But boy, is he ready for rugby. And he brings such a flair to the game. When I'm saying flair, little things he does like this, running off of the ball and getting little offloads away. Also a very direct runner. Good to see him back in that captain's jersey.
And a lovely offload by Siya Kolisi to get the ball out.
Just watch at all those guys they had there. And Willie Leroux also involved in a lot of these tries that happened this week.
And back into the shadow.
And this game now, still very close.
Threads it through to Willie Leroux.
But lots of space there. And Moody's such a world-class player at the moment. Just look at how he still had a lot of work to do there. Cutting back in and scoring. And he's such a good finisher, Moody. Sorry, I've got to stop these things. There's a lot I want to say, and these highlights are very quick. We were 20 minutes into this game, guys. It felt like it was still a super close game between Wales and South Africa. Your typical Wales-South African game. But what I liked is then, you saw Willie Leroux actually getting a lot of success this week with, cutting into the line, coming around, and then seeing those opportunities for the long passes out wide. He saw it this time, getting it into Moody's hands. And what I love about Moody is such a good reader of the field. So he saw he didn't have opportunity to go out wide. He cut right back in. And he's such a good finisher. This guy's going to be world-class. Young boy. What's he, 22 years old or something? How good is he going to be? Someone to definitely also... I called all my teams, my 5 players that I think can score more than 8 tries in this World Cup, and I picked for the Springboks Arendse. But I think Moody is actually a better player in many senses. Better, well-rounded. They're both very good, but very well-rounded winger. And it's going to be good because now the Springboks have got Colby, they've got Arendse, they've got Mpimpi, and they've got Moody now on these wings. They've got more than enough talent, and it's becoming really good to see them all starting to shine now. But let's get back to the action.
Rugby players.
But there again, Willie Leroux made that try in many ways,
Evans straight out of the block. So too is Moody.
Oh, and this pops back, and now there's space again. Clever kick from Dililindi there on the foot. Can it bounce right? Oh, and Krill scores. So let me just stop there because, like I say, these highlights are very short. I have to react to the highlights that's on YouTube. What I liked is Krill, the pace that he showed this week. He was everywhere in that back line where the ball was, and how hard he chased there. He was right next to Cheslin Colby. Krill is super fast, and this is one thing that we might have lost that in Lucanio in maybe just his defensive structures and his reading of the rugby game and maybe a little bit of his razzle dazzle from lost from but you know, from a Springbok perspective, Kriel, you know, the Springboks have really gained pace because now you have a super fast 13 that's pretty much like a wing. So it really paid off in this game for the Springboks having, you know, a centre that's also that fast.
Morgan, they're within 6 meters away.
And now Wales coming. They're having some possession.
Hardy.
Oh, Pieter-Steph du Toit gets the intercept. How well read. And watch this for pace, guys. Watch this for pace. Whoa. Oh, man. Jesse second. And Jesse saying he's now cemented that number 13 jersey to say, I want it. And I'm glad for him, man. He looks like he could be. He's had injuries in previous World Cups. He didn't make the team. And I'm glad for him, Izia. Awesome loop round. And now you start seeing Springbok front back type rugby smashing through. And Pieter-Steph du Toit, another guy that had a mammoth game. He was the one with the intercept there to Kriel just earlier. And then a scoring again. Oh, and Moody gets his second. I hope they're going to show that again. Because I want to show you guys. I'm going to pause it at the right place. I think they'll play the replay on that one where Moody scored. Watch. This is one thing. I've just reacted to the game between England and Ireland. And England trying to do a press type defense, but they're not spoiling the ball. So what I mean by that is they're not, you know, kind of attacking the players hard enough for them to make mistakes. So they're pressing up, but then Ireland could just play deep and get it past to the wings, and then they were exposed and scoring. Where what the Springboks was doing well, and what they do pretty well on there, I would rather call it, instead of a press defense, a blitz defense, is they shoot out of the line. And here you could see Moody deciding to do that. There's always one guy who decides to shoot out of the line quick. And because he did that, he read that ball so well. And this is again what I'm saying with Canan Moody. He's not just a fast winger like some of the other wingers that the Springboks have. He's got such a good read of rugby and read of a rugby ball. You know, he's got a bit of a rugby mind to me, and that's why I think this boy is going to be special as he develops as a rugby player. Not that he's not already amazing, but imagine he still gets better than this. Because that was superbly read by him, how he took that ball out of 14's hands when he still thought that he's going to get that, and the next thing he just grabs it with one hand and goes. Just watch this. I mean,
that is the edge of the line.
That is superb.
Ruthlessness now. South Africa has to show.
I mean, considering it took South Africa quite a while, about another 15 minutes to have opportunity again. But now working a lot harder up front. And this was superb by Manie Libbok. And this is the thing that Manie Libbok's really good at, is his sense to spread the ball out wide. Watch Manie Libbok seeing Willemse drifting with his run. Manie Libbok immediately seeing that. You can see Willemse and Manie Libbok plays very well together. And as Willemse drifts out, Manie Libbok sees it, and he a pinpoint pass for him to get around his defender. And that's where Manie Libbok's really good. From a running point of type fly off, he's really good. Man, he's just got a big challenge when it comes to tactical kicking and to place kicking to the posts. Anyway, let's keep going.
Shifting on the pass.
Beautiful try.
The ball beats his man.
Watch Manie.
Lovely outside.
He knew what he was doing.
They had the advantage and took the opportunity.
Well, that foul play review officer.
And now 71 minutes in.
With Damien Willemse. Could have a major bearing on the World Cup future of Damien Willemse. Oh, and there goes Thomas Williams. And Williams gets the ball down. Just short of the line, though.
Thomas Williams not getting it there, but then they score. And glad that Wales got something back. They worked hard, and good for them to also get one back.
And then Sam Curry.
By the way, guys, they didn't show this. Willemse had a similar instance to what we've seen with Vunipola, where he went in high, he got a yellow, it was getting reviewed, but the difference is he tried to rep. He got his head, bloody head, open, and the other player was down. And it went up for review, but it stayed yellow, and that's because I think the difference there is the rep. So he tried to rep, and that's makes a big difference in some of these games. But still a lot of inconsistencies when it comes to these high tackles, because we know Lapis Labuschagne got a tough one where he got, I think, 2 weeks out, plays for Japan, and he probably repped better than what Willemse repped around his arms around in this game, and Willemse only getting a yellow. So guys, yeah, that's then the end of the game. There was another yellow card also for Dyer. It looked a bit cynical, but at the end I think it was only yellow, where he's Moody, there was a clever cross kick to Moody, and Moody would have kind of scored, but it bounced the other way, so Moody couldn't. I thought he touched it at first, but Moody didn't touch it. It bounced back through his hands, and then Dyer slapped it out, and that was then eventually given for a yellow card that they also don't show on these highlights. Other stuff, what do I think of the performance from a Welsh point of view? Well, it was a tough day out for the Welsh. The big thing is how they got exposed here with the Welsh. South Africa managed to get the ball quite quickly through the hands, and even though they tried to stop it, there was too much space out for the wings, and Wales was just not good enough to kind of close South Africa down from a wing perspective. They were good midfield defense. I think they were right up there in forward pack defense against the Springboks. From a set piece point of view, the Springboks was all over Wales. They won just almost about every single scrum. South African scrum just seemed too strong for Wales for the most part of it. So they're disappointing for Wales. And if you don't win the upfront battle, it's always going to be hard for you to be able to stay in a game like this, especially against the Springboks. Well, they'll keep working you up front until they've worn you down, and then they'll start opening it up. We saw a good brand of running rugby with forward pack rugby from the Springboks. It's starting to look more like what we want to see. So it's starting to come together, and this was, I think, very important for the Springboks to have had a performance like this just before the World Cup, to build that confidence and just to show, we are also here, and we will still be a force to be reckoned with. What concerned me from a Springbok point of view is their lineouts not competing in the lineouts. Now, this has been a thing lately. I don't know if it's a new strategy from Jacques Nienaber and the coaching team to say they're not going to try and challenge the opposition's lineouts. But the Springboks have always been that team that would challenge opposition lineout and win many of those lineouts, turn it to their favor. It's just sad in rugby to not see that anymore. Obviously, there's different strategies. Maybe they need more numbers in the defense or something of that sort. But I don't like it, man. I want to see the guys compete for lineouts. What's the point we have lineouts and only one team goes up for it and the other team doesn't even compete? So I don't like that, and I'm seeing that from Springbok rugby. Not loving that much. And then the other big thing. But the big elephant in the room stays one big problem that the Springboks have got. And that's Manie Libbok not being able to convert his place kicking. Now, I don't know if it is that he's heard what's going on in the media, all the pressure that's on him, and maybe this guy's just a big match temperament type fly-off. He's not. We've seen this before from Manie Libbok, where some games he's just so disappointing. Now, this was still a runaway game, and at the end, the Springboks will be happy with it, but I'm just concerned that they overlooked the fact that Manie Libbok was super disappointing. I think he almost missed all of his kicks, and some of it was sitters right in front of the post. And this is going to cost him in the World Cup. It could even cost him in that first game against Scotland. And I'm like asking the questions, if there's going to be no Pollard, should they not start letting Colby kick to the post? And then obviously if they get Faf de Klerk back in the team, let him kick, because Manie just don't seem up to it, in my opinion. I don't think Willemse is much better. Let them then start working on Colby and Faf. Let them just be the kickers for the World Cup. And then I would say, you know, when I went back and I said, it's mysterious what the Springboks are doing, and I got a lot of responses in the comment section saying it's not mysterious that they haven't picked Pollard for their World Cup squad. And I am still, it's mysterious, because why I'm saying it's mysterious, they say this guy's almost ready for play, maybe 2-3 games, but they didn't pick him in the World Cup squad with the anticipation that someone will get injured. And I've heard Jog Nienaber say that if any of the front back gets injured, they will not replace it with a back. So if any of the props or hookers get injured, they will not replace it with a back. So anyone else has got to get an injury in the next game of the World Cup for Pollard to have any opportunity to play. It just makes no sense to me. It's silly. The one thing that the Springboks have done now is, with this mysterious decision, they've put themselves on the back foot. They could have put this guy into the squad. They knew he was going to be ready in 2 to 3 weeks. Why keep him out and then have to wait for an injury? Why put yourself in these curious, scenarios and situations? Because they really did not need four scrum halves in this World Cup. You know, Cobus Reiner is going to be sitting on the bench most of the games. And your question is going to be, because it seems to me they're going to prefer to play Hendricks, Grant Williams and Faf. So, and then you keep someone out like a Pollard that might be missing out on this World Cup if they don't get injuries anytime soon. And I'm just like, guys, did you think this through as a coaching team? And that's just my opinion, because there's no ways going into this full World Cup that Pollard will not be fit and ready at some point. And I'll tell you, out of form, because then they say, yeah, but he needs game time again to get into it and get his form back. To me, in my opinion, an out form Pollard is still great for me as a second option in fly off. He can play, he can come in on the second half, and at least, you know, under pressure kicks, you still got a fly off that's got a better success rate than Marnie has, even out of form. So, yeah, that's just my opinion. I think Pollard should have been there. Guys, if you enjoyed this video and my reaction, hit the subscribe button below, and I'm going to catch you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye.